Hey everybody, Reefgrrl here, and welcome to my channel. This video is a follow-up to the video I made about the siphon tool of my dreams. I'm going to show you a water change. I'm also going to show you why, if you have an all-in-one tank, you need this tool. I've showed you before how messy the bottom of this tank is. So to prepare for this water change, I went in and picked up all of the large pieces of loose rubble. Here's all the rubble I pulled out, and these are carbon fiber tweezers from MaxSpect. Pat Murphy, Murphy's Aquatics, introduced me to these via his Instagram post about them. They float, and I know for sure you can't pick up anything heavy with them. They were perfect for this right here. The curve at the end and the rubber tips really worked well to get this stuff out, because I've chased after this kind of thing in the bottom of the tank before and had nothing but trouble. So I think we're almost ready to start. I start by turning everything off, including the heater and the UV sterilizer, because without water flowing past those things, they'll get too hot. Here's my 5-gallon bucket. The hose is going into that. You can check out the original video if you want more details. Let's just say, I love this thing. Ready? In. Trigger. And there we go. Siphon is started. I love how easy it was to start this siphon. That's the main thing. Also, the length of this tube means you can reach pretty much everywhere in a tank this size without having to put your hand under the water. The included extension tube will help with tanks that are bigger. There was so much crud on the bottom of the tank that I missed some larger pieces of rubble, and they ended up going in and blocking the siphon. So I'm going to put this nozzle on and try and block any larger pieces from going up inside, and we'll see if that helps. It went much more smoothly this time. My only concern was the fish. They were pretty freaked out by this thing in their territory, and I was worried that they might swim around really fast and go straight up and out the back. Luckily, this never happened. Very, very maneuverable, this thing. Really easy to use. Oh man, if I was impressed before, I'm even more impressed now. I have my 5-gallon bucket on a plant dolly. It has wheels. I'm taking it over to the sink. I'll lift that up and empty it in there. That yellow water sure failed the white bucket nitrate test. As I take one more bucket to deal with the rest of the debris, check it out. My hand isn't anywhere near having to be in the water. Then it was just a matter of setting things up to refill with new salt water. This whole process was really quick and easy because of that siphon. But I have something else to show you that's going to make you want it even more, especially if you have an all-in-one tank. Much, much cleaner on the bottom. Not perfect, but that's okay. All that junk is out of there. The nitrate factory. Fish didn't jump out of the tank, thank goodness. They're all still here. Okay, so why do you need this tool if you have an all-in-one tank? Well, here's how I found out. Because the nitrates in the observation tank were so high, I decided to try this stuff, Nitrate R from Brightwell. About 6 weeks ago, I put in a 1/4 cup. This brought the nitrates down to consistently around 30, but I would prefer them to be lower, maybe around 15. So I decided to add more. I had a brand new filter sock assembly available, so I decided to use that to put together a new sock with all new media except for a bag of carbon in the very bottom and the original 1/4 cup of the Nitrate R. To that, I added another 1/4 cup in a separate media bag, and I replaced all the filter floss. It occurred to me I should take a look at the bottom of this first chamber just to see if it needed maybe cleanup, and holy smokes, yeah, it was pretty disgusting. So much crud down there. Then it popped into my mind, I now have the perfect tool to get a siphon going and get that stuff out of there. Some of you will probably think I should have just stuck a hose down there and sucked on the other end. Oh, nuh-uh, no way. Not with what I saw down in the bottom of that chamber. So here's my setup. The reason I have that container in there is I want to be able to measure how much water comes out so that I can replace it. Everything's off in this tank except for the power head. Might as well keep the water circulating. But because everything's off, I can go in now and remove water from the back. I put the hose down in the bucket, and let me tell you, having the extra length hose was really useful in this instance. This was a little more tricky to get the siphon going and required more pumping, probably because the tube was more vertical than it had been in the tank. It did the job though. Look at this. There's just under 2 gallons of ugly down here. And take a look at this. All that crud is gone. I forgot I had that down there. It was completely buried in gunk. So yeah, I'm gonna pull that out. Then I'm gonna drop the new sock back in, add some more water. Now looking at these water levels, looks like I drew quite a bit of water from where the pump is, and that's okay too. So I'm gonna replace that water and then we'll be good to go. All right, so I have my replacement water with my handy dandy maxi jet that I use for so many things. It is plugged in right there, and I'll turn it on as soon as I make sure the hose is secure. There's the hose. I've already put in the new filter sock. So here we go. Turn on the maxi jet. Now I'm thinking to drain the entire container. And what I have to watch here is how fast the water comes out, because it has to go through this brand new filter sock. But because I measured the quantity of water that came out and I'm replacing it with the same quantity, pretty much when the pump is done, I should be done. Getting close to the bottom now. When it starts to draw air, I will shut it off. See it's filling up. I can always bail some water if I have to. And there we're drying air. Alright, little siphon. Okay, so the levels back here are good. And how I tell when I'm doing a normal water change is where the water level sits right here. You can see it's right at that lower black line. So when I have everything shut off, that's where it finishes. So we'll turn it on and I'll see whether the back chamber drops too low, and if I have to, I will add more. I've left the ATO shut off because if there isn't enough water, I don't want more fresh water put in until I level off the salt water properly. Alright, the water level in the middle there is a tiny bit low. Usually it's almost at the top of the ATO sensor. So I think I'll add about half of what's left in the container. So there you go. You have to agree, there aren't many ways to clean out those back chambers, and this thing did the trick. Yeah, look what it pulled out. Blah. I'm so glad it's not in there anymore. Anyway, if you liked the video, why not give it a thumbs up? And if you're interested in more, especially as my new 600-gallon build is slowly progressing, why not subscribe to the channel if you haven't already? Thanks for watching. Stay safe, everybody.